The courtroom had settled into its usual rhythm. Lawyers whispering, strategy reporters typing, and murmurs bouncing around the gallery. Then the doors at the back swung open, all eyes turned, and in walked Will Smith. There was no press release, no lawyer at his side, no escort, just Will alone. A collective gasp rose in the room. The judge paused mid-motion. Even Diddy, who had been reclining, visibly confident, sat up, the smile fading from his face. Will didn't stop. He walked slowly, but deliberately, to the stand. He didn't glance at the defendant. He didn't acknowledge anyone when he spoke. His voice was steady but stripped of performance. "I wasn't asked to testify," he said. "I asked if I could." The judge gave a quiet nod. The courtroom braced itself. What came next was not another soundbite for social media. It wasn't another headline in the chaos of the trial. It was something else, years of secret shame and silence, all collapsing into one voice that could no longer hold them in. He started with the beginning, an invitation. The kind of thing everyone in the industry gets: a birthday gathering, a networking event hosted by Diddy, exclusive, intimate, familiar territory for an A-lister. But this one felt different. Security was tight. Phones were confiscated at the door. He was told it was for privacy. Will now says he knew better. Inside, the lighting was low. The music was strange, ambient, repetitive, almost hypnotic, the mirrors on. Every wall made it feel like eyes were everywhere. Will had attended industry parties for decades. This wasn't that Diddy greeted him personally. "Welcome to the family," he said with a smirk that Will now describes as owning, not welcoming. He followed Diddy into a side room, not for business, but something much darker. What he witnessed, he said, left him shaken. Performers on display. Some of them recognizable, others alarmingly young, a crowd watching, laughing Diddy. Among them relaxed, like this was. All completely normal. Will felt trapped. He didn't know how to live, that he now realizes was the whole design. The days that followed blurred into silence. Then the call started anonymous. One simply said, "Hope you had fun, Fresh Prince." And then came the envelope, no name, no return address. Inside was a flash drive. Will almost didn't look, but he did on it footage from that night of him on a couch looking groggy, laughing at something he doesn't remember. In the background, a voice Diddy saying, "That's how we keep him." The courtroom tensed. Will's voice cracked only once. That wasn't a party, he said, it was a setup. From that point forward, he said, the manipulation began. More party invitations followed. He declined. Then roles disappeared. Collaborations fell apart. The court was keeping it sealed for now. But if anything leaked, the entire entertainment industry could be upended. And Will, he didn't return to work. He declined interviews, skipped events, canceled press appearances, but he wasn't hiding insiders. Say he stayed close to his children, focused on healing, taking walks, relearning the version of himself that existed before the fear, a family friend anonymously told Variety. For the first time in years, he's not pretending. Before court adjourned that week, the judge offered a rare public remark. What we witnessed today wasn't just testimony. She said it was a reckoning. And this court recognizes the extraordinary courage it took to deliver it. The final image of that day wasn't Diddy's bowed head. It wasn't Will's slow exit. It was the jury stone still scribbling notes, trying to process the seismic weight of what they had just heard out in the world. The internet did what the courtroom couldn't contain: clips of past parties, now reanalyzed through a different lens, flooded social media interview footage, where Will's face changed subtly at the mention of certain names, was reposted and dissected. Fans began noting how many red carpet photos, press events, and panels had a familiar presence lurking in the background. And then came the pain. Dozens of moments from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air resurfaced, moments where Will had smiled, laughed, danced. Fans now asked, was he carrying this the whole time? The wave wasn't just emotional. It was righteous. People weren't just angry about Diddy. They were angry that someone like Will had to carry this burden alone. They were angry that for years, people who whispered the truth were labeled conspiracy theorists. They were angry that the system had been allowed to stand as long as it did, because silence was cheaper than truth. But Will wasn't angry. He was calm, tired, and finally free. He didn't respond to the media frenzy. He didn't post follow-ups. He didn't start a foundation or book tour. He posted just one image, a black and white portrait of himself as a young man on set laughing under natural light. The caption read, "He didn't know what was coming, but he made it through." I'm proud of him. No hashtags, no names, no quotes, just closure, and for the first time in a long time, the silence that followed wasn't oppressive.